So let's get down to decoding the Eye of Horus. We're going to use Glastonbury Tor as a good example, seeing as we're working on there at the moment and Jax has been in the area. Well, we might as well feature this one tonight, and it was requested anyway, so let's take a look at this. So you can see the Tor there, and now we're going to add the halo configurations in where they would be. So you can see now how the eye actually gets created. It's the pressure zones between these two halos, that very special place I mentioned in the Vesica Pisces. And the trace in yellow is the eye. So it's the eye of the Eye of Horus is actually the eye of the Taurus field. Now before we go further into that, I want to bring you back to Yasmin's video, because I've got something important here I want you to see. See if you can see it yourself. But don't worry, it will get highlighted. Right there. Can you see what's taking place on the ground, right in the centre of that rainbow, going upwards? I'll adjust I'll give it a filter and then put traces there so you can see the shape. You see that? That's what's taking place coming down from the top of that rainbow. Now this is what's depicting, this is the cone. This is Adam's cone coming down to the ground to meet Eve. That's what you're actually seeing there. So this is Adam at work, bringing these layers of cloud down to the ground, driving the positives down basically to connect with Eve and generate electricity. That's what you're looking at there, and I thought that was very important and very useful that it was here. Now we're going to get into some legends now. Excalibur. What you're looking at there, people, that shape that's coming down, that is a representation of Excalibur. And this is why you see angels depicted with swords and spears. It's the tip of the sword or the spear that represents the cone that's coming down. So, no man, woman or living creature can ever extract Excalibur from the rock. Only the Creator's angels can do such a thing, because this is what it actually relates to. And this is where your myths and legends are coming from. King Arthur asks the Lady of the Lake for the sword Excalibur. You see, the king, or Adam, cannot have his power without Eve. Eve starts the process. Eve's the body, Adam's the head. It has to start with the body, otherwise the head doesn't work. That's why he's asking for the sword Excalibur. He's asking for permission for Eve to start up, basically, and then he can start bringing it down. And what you can also see from this, you look at human anatomy, don't they look like lungs? And your throat compressing food down, say, down to your stomach. Now, here's something else I noticed when I added the nodes. The chalice well is right beside node 3 on this halo. What's the chances of that, people? And it's not the only well there either. There's a well either side of that particular node. And here's the sacred geometry from this well, from two different sites. One of the sites' names is the Chalice Well, and the other one is called the White Spring, which is slightly east of the first well. So both of these wells are on opposite sides of node 3, believe it or not. And I'm pretty sure you can see from the sacred geometry depicted everywhere now what it's actually relating to. The spirals there, the Vesica Pisces. The white line coming through the centre represents the sword or the spear that the angel would use. Amazing stuff, isn't it, people? It all comes together and makes more and more sense the more you look at it. This is what this is the gardens around Avalon. People's always known this. I'm going to give this, a better wording and presentation. I didn't have time to finish it this week because I was doing the animations and things, but it was so. You could see the Eye of Horus. And like this one, look at those two stones. They're depictions of the two halos, Adam's halo and Eve's halo, right there, and the water's flowing through them. Now that's one of the wells there, that pumps up water. It's the angels that are pumping the water up. And you're getting, this is a popular site. You can go there and drink that. And look, there's the eye there in the water with the two halos, where it intersects the two halos. So it's depicted everywhere, the sacred geometry, and hopefully now you can understand what it actually relates to. It's these halos, it's the overlap of halos and the special place which is the eye. Because our sun's projection unit is actually within the eye of the sun's halo system, and that's where the sun's image is coming from. And this is the other well on the east side of Node 3, the White Spring. Notice the sacred geometry, the spiral there, the DNA strand.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt, but your video is seeming very shaded.
Is it?
And yeah, on screen, I can see it beautifully, through our chat box here, but on YouTube, it's got this shading to it, and everybody, it was just the last two videos.
It doesn't matter because, like I said, this will be done as a separate video anyway. I've got most of the words written out for it, but it's not how I want to present it. But it was just to show people what the eye actually is and how special it is, and of course more updates on what's taking place around Glastonbury Tor. And what I wanted to point out as well, these kings and queens. I'm going to do a series on the angels in history and how they've been renamed and hidden so many times in our history. Like with this one here in John Dee's time, this is some of our older work. And if you look at the wording, it's princes and kings and ensigns. This is when they started to assign military designations to this technology. So the angels throughout time have been, renamed and put into categories, militarized and depicted all kinds of ways. So I can see now what they've done and how they've done it in history, but it's quite an easy decode really. So this is what it all relates to, people. It's all back down to this again, and this is what the late Jordan Maxwell was talking about. It all relates to this. The cross. He knew it was related to the cross, and I think he would have loved our decodings if he'd have seen these. This is old work from a few years ago, and it's all related. You can see now there the cones. We now understand that they're cones. And the one with the line through the bottom of it was probably where it would depict the head being cut off, which is mean, the switching Adam off or Eve off. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to people. It gives them a little bit more information on Glastonbury Tor, and the one eye symbology is this very special place within the Vesica Pisces, and you can see why. This project still isn't finished. There's larger halos still to connect to this. That's going to take you through them built up areas. So this is just a piece of a bigger decode that you're actually seeing here. But that's the eye, people. That's a very special place in between these two overlapping halos. And on the sun projector and the moon projector, that's exactly where their projection system is contained. I say projection system, it's actually a stand made of some kind of metal that can withstand heat, and it's electrical arcing that's creating that image within this altar. I'll call it an altar. That's what the ancients called it. But it'll have a technical word for it that I don't have the word for it yet. But this is where the sun's image and the moon's images are coming from, and it's this special area that helps project it out into the sky. It has to be located within the eye for it to be projected. So that's where your Eye of Horus actually comes from. And that was a nice video by Yasmin there, that shows the cone actually coming down, and that's the tip of the sword of Adam, the angel, the electrical part of the process. I hope that makes sense, people.